it's almost inconceivable that people like Reverend Gail Seavey, Annabelle Leeserson, Reverend Fred Muir, various other advocates or experts in, let's not forget Reverend Deborah Pope Lance, perhaps the preeminent Unitarian Universalist expert about clergy sexual misconduct within the Unitarian Universalist religious community. It's almost inconceivable these people did not make it very, very clear to Jim Key that while there actually have been some cases of clergy sexual abuse of children, and yet Jim Key, in his rather dubious wisdom, thought he could stand up in front of thousands of Unitarian Universalists at the UUAGA in Providence, Rhode Island, and brazenly lie in such a way as to mislead them into believing that there was no clergy sexual abuse of children, at least that he was aware of. So that's where things stand, and I very soon after becoming aware of this, it took a few days for me to find out what he actually said in the apology. It wasn't immediately posted to the UUA website. I didn't hear from other people exactly what he said, and then the day or two after it happening. But once I found out, I immediately challenged what Jim Key said. I sent emails to the UUA saying, this is not true, and I expect you to correct the record. I expect you to tell the truth that A, it is not a very small number of Unitarian Universalist ministers who are guilty of clergy sexual misconduct. I expect you to acknowledge that hundreds of Unitarian Universalist congregations have been affected by clergy sexual misconduct of one kind or another. And that pretty well means that hundreds of Unitarian Universalist ministers are guilty of one form of clergy sexual misconduct or another. But on top of that, and as far as I'm concerned, much, much worse, I expect you to acknowledge that children have in fact been sexually abused by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, to use Maitre Colombe's own words, and to identify exactly who these Unitarian Universalist ministers are who were convicted of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and or rape and went to jail for their despicable crimes. I expect you to say exactly how many ministers have been credibly accused of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, even if they weren't charged, tried, and convicted. In other words, if you've received complaints about Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual abuse of children that for whatever reason never became actual criminal charges against the ministers, but nonetheless appeared to be quite credible, well, I expect you to tell the truth about that. Of course, they haven't. They've stubbornly refused to correct the record. And, here we are, protesting still against the fact that Unitarian Universalist Association had the unmitigated gall to falsely accuse me of the crime of blasphemous libel in an effort to cover up and hide the fact that certain Unitarian Universalist ministers are in fact guilty of engaging in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. And this protest will continue until such a time as the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations tells the truth. And that is pretty much the end of this little half-hour monologue. And I expect my, in quotation marks, tape is just about to run out. Yeah, we only got a few seconds left. Okay.